Kind of a roller coaster weekend. We had a blast. Feel like we got better this weekend. That obviously is the goal. Tough time nationally and internationally, and all our thoughts and prayers obviously go out to the people around the world, and unique circumstances this year. So it's kind of a little bit of a reflective time. But I'm here to answer your questions and talk a little bit about the Raiders and their future.
Hey, Mike, this is Vic. Obviously, you guys drafted Simpson. He signed, I think, 3 guards in the offseason. What does that say about the future of Gabe Jackson?
Can you say that again, Vic? I didn't get any of that.
Sorry. I said you guys drafted Simpson today, and you signed, I guess, with 3 guards this offseason. What does that say about the future of Gabe Jackson?
The future of Gabe Jackson is our starting right guard. I mean, I don't really – we signed Kush and we signed Debbie, and both those guys play all 3 internal positions. So they're kind of inside guys. I think Gabe Jackson's our starting right guard, and that's exactly what it says.
Hey, Mike, this is Vinny with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Both of the players that you took today, if you look at projections and analysis and all that, they were expected to go maybe a little bit higher in the draft. Were you surprised that they were there at the in that 4th round and where you guys were drafting?
Yeah, I kind of went to bed last night with a plan to trade up. Wasn't sure with who. We started calling teams last night. We continued early this morning. We ended up getting to the 3rd pick in this round with Detroit, and we really wanted to get that Clemson guard. And he was a guy that we had on our board for yesterday. Depending on how the board fell, we would have taken him in the 3rd round. So when we kind of felt like he was going to go quickly, so we were able to use our 5th round pick to move up and get him. And then John and I started talking about pick 139, which is the pick we got from New England yesterday. And John asked me about Amik Robertson. I said, there's no way he's going to get to 139. And boy, we were excited when he did. He's a competitive, tough kid. And if he was 2 inches taller, he'd have gone yesterday. So that's the only knock on him. He's a competitive, tough, smart kid. So we were thrilled with the way day 3 went.
Is he somebody that could play outside in the slot? Like initially, where would you project him initially?
Yeah, I think he, ultimately he looks like a nickel to me, but he's played mostly outside at La Tech. I talked to his defensive coordinator this morning, Bobby Diaco, who I've known for years, and Bob just kind of jumped up on the table, both as a person and a player. And I asked him the same question just to confirm what I saw on tape. He's an inside-out guy. And Bobby said, yeah, you're not going to like his length outside, but you're going to love his speed, toughness, competitiveness. Ultimately, to me, he's got the physical traits and toughness that you would love as a nickel in the NFL.
It seems like he's got pretty good ball skills, Mike. I mean, it's been an issue for the Raiders for a while, getting turnovers on interceptions and defending passes. Is that a strength of his?
That's a fair point on both sides. He had 14 career interceptions. He's always around the football. He's an instinctual kid. He's not afraid to go make a play, and I think that's underrated. He's looking to make plays. And it's interesting because when he gets beat occasionally, it's because he's trying to make plays. So, yeah, we need to get much better at taking the football away on defense. And this is the kind of kid that thrives on that. So I think that's a good point.
Hey, Mike, it's Josh. You guys obviously no 5th, 6th, or 7th round picks with no offseason program this year. Was this going to be a year where it was going to be harder maybe for lower round picks to make a team? Or
yeah, another good question. We didn't have any 6 or 7 heading into this weekend, and one of our concerns was, depending on what happens with the pandemic, we think there's a pretty good chance we're not going to see our rookies in person until maybe training camp. And if that's the case, you better make sure you're drafting rookies that are smart, hardworking, and accountable, because they're going to have a shortened period of time to make your team. So we had 7 of the first 139 picks, and that was a little bit of the thought process about not trying to trade down out of 139. We had some offers to move out of there, and we wanted Robertson if he was there, but the further down you get in the draft, the more concerns we had about a kid being able to realistically compete to make the roster.
Hey, Mike, this is Tashawn Reed from The Athletics. You doubled up both at wide out and cornerback in the draft. How do you feel about what you brought in at both those positions?
Yeah, I mean, we went into this draft knowing we had to get better at wide out. I think everybody in the league knew it. I think even casual fans knew it. We feel like we addressed the wide receiver position in 2 different yet dynamic ways. Henry Ruggs flies. We all know that. Fastest player in the draft. We think he changes what we do offensively. And Brian Edwards is the opposite. Big, physical, tough. We love the physicality he brings. So we feel like we brought in 2 distinctly different wide receivers. And again, I keep saying that I trust in John Gruden and what he does on offense. He understands how to use these guys and put them in the best position to make plays. On defense, we think Arnett's one of the toughest kids in the draft at any position. You find a corner with his instincts and toughness. We love him. We just thought he was a special football player, and he'll come in day one, and he's going to compete. We expect him to compete for a starting job. And then we've talked about Robertson already today. Whether it's inside or outside, it's another competitor, another guy that Rich Bisaccia is going to love on special teams. And we expect all these guys to come in and compete day one.
Mike, you guys begin your off-season virtual OTAs on Monday. Can you give an idea of what that might look like? And do you feel like you could get a lot of work done even with the kind of restrictions that are in place?
It's tough. The rookies can't even start on Monday. They've got to wait to the, quote, virtual rookie minicamp in May. So it makes it even more difficult. The one thing I learned over the last month or 6 weeks or whatever it's been, I just couldn't believe how creative our coaches got with our Zoom presentations to the college players. And I guarantee you they'll bring the same creativity to our Raider players as we go through the virtual. It's really just going to be more learning than anything. And I know our coaches have put a lot of time and effort. It's not unlike, the kindergarten teachers and the 3rd grade teachers and everybody around the country. They're trying to put their best foot forward and teach people from home. And that's what I stress with all the veterans I've talked to and every single rookie that we drafted. Once we could get them integrated into our virtual program, we expected 100% allegiance, attention, and they better be ready to hit the ground running whenever we're allowed to go.
Mike, with the moves you've made in free agency and now in the draft, do you feel you've closed the gap at all with the Chiefs?
Wow, I mean that's a loaded question. That's a tough question. They're the world champs, and I've known Andy Reid for a lot of years, and watching the way he and Brett draft. All they do is get faster. They draft that friggin' running back that I love from LSU. Then they draft Willie Gay, the linebacker. They just keep getting faster and keep raising the bar. I don't know what the answer to that is yet. I know we feel like we got better in free agency, and I know we feel like we got better in the draft. And nobody's going to know how much or if at all until we get out in the field and compete. So that's the thing I love about it. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I've had so many of our guys texting me and calling me, and they miss the fact that they're not going to be there on Monday. And that's what I love about our group of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mike, have you had a chance to talk to Derek Carr? Obviously, he has some nice new toys to play with, as does John Gruden. But any idea or any feedback from him on what you guys were able to do?
Yeah, we've been texting back and forth over the weekend, and it started with the Ruggs pick. And, he doesn't know who we're picking. And I got, about 5 texts with, WOW, exclamation point, I mean, he was just fired up. with that pick, and then we get Edwards and Bowden, and he's, I don't even know how to make emojis. I was just looking at all these emojis, but I guess he's happy. That looks good. But yeah, bottom line is what I said last night is I think what we're trying to do is get more dynamic on offense, and I think that's what Derek recognizes as well.
Hey, Mike. Through 2 drafts, you've shown pretty consistent tendency to trust your evaluations rather than go with what may be the consensus. What does it take to confidently take that approach going into the draft?
Yeah, can I hear the part of that again? You said we've stayed true to. I didn't catch all of it. There's some echo in the background.
I was saying you've leaned more towards trusting your evaluations and how you rate players than what the consensus on it may be when it comes to what round may be graded
right.
or whether they're better than another player or not. What does it take to confidently take that approach going into the draft?
It's interesting because I spent so many years watching all the other GMs do it, 18 years or whatever, watching 32 teams draft. And I got close to a lot of different people around the league and had a lot of respect for a lot of people. I texted a good friend of mine who's a GM yesterday, and I basically said to him, I love your draft. You stay patient every year, and you trust your board. And it sounds really simple, but it's so friggin' hard to do. And that's what they've done for years. And that's what John and I have been talking about since I've been here. Just we're joined together at the hip, and let's be patient. Let's trust our board because we've done all the work. We really don't care what anybody outside our building thinks. We have one goal, and that's winning a Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, nothing else matters. So I think John and I have stayed consistent, and I think we've had a lot of fun doing it too.
Anything more from Mike? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, Mike, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.